Good day, and welcome to this exploration of one of the most pivotal moments in 20th century history, the reunification of Germany. Today, we'll be delving into the complex web of events that led to the fall of the Berlin Wall and the subsequent merging of East and West Germany. It's a tale of political intrigue, social upheaval, and the end of the Cold War era that reshaped the map of Europe. Now, before we dive into the details, it's important to understand the context. For nearly 3 decades, the Berlin Wall had stood as a stark symbol of the divide between East and West, not just in Germany, but across Europe. It was a physical manifestation of the Iron Curtain, that ideological and political barrier that separated the communist East from the capitalist West. The wall's fall wasn't just about tearing down concrete and barbed wire, it represented the crumbling of an entire world order that had defined international relations since the end of the Second World War. We defeated the Germans twice, and now they're back. The process of German reunification was far from straightforward. It was a delicate dance of diplomacy, both within Germany and on the international stage. The key players in this drama were not just the Germans themselves, but also the leaders of the 4 Allied powers that had divided Germany after World War II: the United States, the Soviet Union, Britain, and France. Each had their own concerns and interests to protect. I find it particularly fascinating how the attitudes of these powers shifted over time. The United States, under President George H.W. Bush, was generally supportive of reunification. They saw a united Germany as a potential anchor for democracy and free markets in Central Europe. The Soviet Union, initially resistant, gradually came to accept the idea under Mikhail Gorbachev's leadership. His policies of glasnost and perestroika had already set in motion the changes that would lead to the collapse of the Soviet Union itself. The Germans must decide for themselves what path they choose to follow. Britain and France, however, were more hesitant. They harboured deep-seated fears about a resurgent Germany, memories of 2 world wars still fresh in the national consciousness. Margaret Thatcher, the British Prime Minister at the time, was particularly vocal in her opposition. She famously remarked to Soviet leader Gorbachev, "We do not want a united Germany." It's a sentiment that reflects the complex historical baggage that came with the idea of German reunification. While the high-level political negotiations were ongoing, it was the actions of ordinary Germans that truly drove the reunification process forward. The Peaceful Revolution, as it came to be known, saw hundreds of thousands of East Germans take to the streets in protest against the communist regime. These demonstrations, which began in Leipzig and spread to other cities, were a powerful display of people power. What I find particularly remarkable about these protests is their peaceful nature. Despite the potential for violence, and indeed the historical precedent for it in events like the East German Uprising of 1953, the demonstrators maintained a non-violent approach. This was encapsulated in their chant of "Wir sind das Volk," "We are the people." It was a powerful assertion of democratic principles in the face of an authoritarian regime. We will be a nation without dreams, we will lose our memories, our past, and therefore also our ability to hope. The East German government, led by Erich Honecker, initially tried to resist these calls for change. But as the protests grew larger and more frequent, and as neighbouring communist regimes began to fall, it became clear that the old order could not hold. The turning point came on the 9th of November 1989, when a confused announcement about new travel regulations led to thousands of East Berliners flooding to the wall. Faced with this mass of humanity, the border guards had no choice but to open the gates. The Berlin Wall, that enduring symbol of the Cold War, had effectively fallen. With the fall of the wall, the process of reunification began in earnest, but it was far from a simple matter of East Germany being absorbed into West Germany. There were complex legal, economic and social issues to be resolved. The 2+4 talks, involving the 2 German states and the 4 Allied powers, were crucial in this process. These negotiations addressed key issues such as the status of a united Germany within NATO and the European community, as well as the thorny question of Germany's eastern border with Poland. One of the most contentious issues was the economic integration of East and West. The East German economy, after decades of communist rule, was in a dire state. The decision to exchange East German marks for West German Deutsche Marks at a 1-to-1 rate for wages, pensions and basic savings was a political masterstroke, but it came at a significant economic cost. It effectively priced many East German businesses out of the market, leading to widespread unemployment and economic dislocation in the East. We paid a high price for reunification, but it was worth it. The final act in this drama came on the 3rd of October 1990, when the German Democratic Republic officially ceased to exist, and its territory was incorporated into the Federal Republic of Germany. It was a moment of great jubilation, symbolized by the raising of the German flag over the Brandenburg Gate in Berlin. But it was also the beginning of a long and often difficult process of integration that continues to this day. The reunification of Germany was a monumental achievement, but it also brought significant challenges. The process of integrating two societies that had developed along very different lines for over 4 decades was never going to be easy. Economic disparities between East and West persisted for years, and to some extent continue to this day. The phrase, "wall in the head," Mauer im Kopf, was coined to describe the psychological barriers that remained even after the physical wall had been torn down. One of the most significant challenges was the economic cost of reunification. The process of bringing the East's infrastructure and industry up to Western standards required massive investment. The solidarity surcharge, a tax introduced to fund reconstruction in the East, remains a point of contention to this day. Some economists estimate the total cost of reunification to be between 1.5 and 2 trillion euros. It's a staggering sum that reflects the scale of the task that Germany undertook. The process of German unity has not ended yet. Despite these challenges, I believe the reunification of Germany must be seen as a remarkable success story. It brought an end to the division of a nation, paved the way for greater European integration, and marked the end of the Cold War era. The fact that it was achieved peacefully, through negotiation and popular will rather than conflict, is a testament to the power of diplomacy and democracy. As we look back on these events from the vantage point of today, it's clear that the reunification of Germany was not just a German story, but a pivotal moment in world history that continues to shape our present and future. As we conclude our exploration of German reunification, it's worth reflecting on the long-term impacts of this historic event. The Germany of today is a far cry from the divided nation of the Cold War era. It has emerged as the economic powerhouse of Europe and a key player on the global stage. The transformation of Berlin from a divided city to the vibrant capital of a unified Germany is perhaps the most visible symbol of this change. However, it would be naive to suggest that all the wounds of division have healed. Economic disparities between East and West persist, and there are still cultural and political differences that can be traced back to the years of separation. The rise of populist movements in parts of the former East Germany in recent years is a reminder that the process of integration is ongoing. Yet, despite these challenges, the overwhelming majority of Germans view reunification positively. It's a testament to the resilience of the German people and their commitment to building a shared future. The best that Berlin has to offer, its unique creativity. Creativity is Berlin's future. As we look to the future, the story of German reunification offers valuable lessons for our world today. It demonstrates that even the most entrenched divisions can be overcome through peaceful means. It shows the power of popular movements to effect change, and it reminds us of the importance of patience and perseverance in the face of complex challenges. The reunification of Germany was not the end of history, as some proclaimed at the time, but it was undoubtedly a new beginning, for Germany, for Europe, and for the world. Thank you for joining me on this journey through one of the most significant events of the 20th century. Your engagement with this content truly makes a difference. If you found this exploration of German reunification enlightening, please consider liking the video and subscribing to the channel. Your support enables us to continue delving into these pivotal moments in history. Do let me know in the comments what other historical events or periods you'd like to see covered in future episodes. Until next time, auf Wiedersehen. Historical responsibility dictates opposition to reunification, no matter how inevitable it may seem.